Hello, STEM DECA. My name is Dr. Staub. I'm recording this in, June of 2020. So if I use this video more than 1 year in a row, just keep in mind this is COVID season. Got my nice COVID beard. During COVID season, I did a lot of yard work just to get outside. So there's a big pile of wood behind me. It's also taught me to do work outside because it's nice outside. So you'll hear the birds chirping in the background. Just is. I'm going to come to you this morning or this afternoon, whenever you're watching the video, and go over how I use Slack and why I think it's good for DECA. We started using Slack in 2019-2020. Mir Gujral had brought me the idea of separating out the DECA conversation from everything else. It's done really two big things for me, and I hope also for you. First off, gosh, my stuff is cluttered. My professional job and all my email clutters DECA communication. Everything else kind of goes through Schoology, and that also gets cluttered. I know you guys get a ton of Schoology notifications and emails too. So I liked having a place where we can communicate just for DECA. It allows me to just limit my workflow. So if I'm only looking at DECA stuff, I only stay focused on DECA stuff. And if I'm looking at school, it just separates it out, which is good for me. The other thing it does is in our DECA page, I can't email just the officers. I can email the whole group, or one individual at a time, or type in all the names for the officers. It's severely problematic, and it's not easy to just have quick communication. So Slack lets us do that. So let me walk you through some things in Slack that I think are really important and how we use it. Please know that we are only 1 year into using Slack, so if you have more ideas about how to use it or how to use it better or how to add things in, because you can add things into Slack, just let me know, okay? But let me go through the basics that I like for you guys for this year. All right, so the basic Slack window has your menu bar on the side and whatever you're looking at here in the middle. Right now I'm clicked into the officer thread, and I'm at the start of the officer channel, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. When you first logged in, I asked you to create your profile information. If you've already done this and you need to go back and make amends, please do. So I clicked in the little STEM DECA drop down up here, and I went to view profile. And here I can edit my profile. A couple things I want to point out, and I'll show you why these are important later. Your full name, I'd like you to be the position that you have this year. VP of Hospitality, Director of Team Events, whatever it is. And you'll see why in a bit. Your display name should be your full name. Don't just do Owen Wright. Don't just do Arushi Jane. So it's easy to find you in a list. What you do is really weird. It doesn't really help out a ton, but it's kind of neat to see. I'd like you to put your DECA event there. So I believe Leshko, I believe you're doing ENT. If you're doing ENT, put ENT there. If you're doing BFS, put BFS there. It just helps me see how those things work out. So if you do all that, the next thing I'd like you to point out to you are there. Let me condense this here. There are channels on the left-hand side that I get to set up. We thought about having one just for announcements, just general announcements to the whole club. We don't really use that, though you can see that I put some things that are there. I have worked with Mir this past year and typed up some rules in case we went to use with the whole club. You can look at this, but it's not really important as of yet. What we really use this for is our officer channel. And if I click back out of that, you can see the officer channel is locked. So there's one for DEHS DECA, Downtown East. They're thinking about a DECA club, and it helped me just communicate with those individuals as well. In our officer channel, it's really just like a running thread of all things DECA. I was surprised there's over 1,000 messages in here at this point. If you see when you start typing, you type a message to the entire group, and you'll just see it. You would see it when you log in, but if you're not tagged, you don't actually get a notification about it. So what I like, you can do a little @ symbol. And now you can see all the people who are in this channel, which is cool. What I like though is if I want to send an email to Rohan, I could do @Rohan. But the reason I wanted you to also put your position is if we open this up to the whole club and someone wants to know who the VP of Hospitality is. Now I deleted Haley out of this, and Belle is not into this yet. So you could type just VP of Hospitality and find that person if you weren't sure who they were. Or if you did Director of Team Events, you could find the Director of Team Events. But again, Emily is not, and we just need to get these people added in. So the reason I want you to set up your profile the way I did is so you can @ somebody by their name or by their officer title. You can't do the same thing with the event. Just doesn't get you anywhere. Okay, so if I did at Arushi and then typed here she would get this message, but you all can see it too. So this is not a private message to Arushi. If I wanted to send her a private message, over on the left-hand side there are direct messages, and I could send Arushi just a private message. Okay? So if I did at one person, or if I wanted to do, I could do as many here as I wanted. So I could add a couple people together so they see the message, which is sometimes very helpful. What I like doing is at channel. Now this notifies everybody in the channel, which is sometimes annoying. So I try not to use this too often. But it would say, like, you're going to notify a whole bunch of people. Do you really want to do that? Well, yeah, sometimes I do. An example of when I do that, you guys will know that now that my time at STEM is kind of limited. If I'm at STEM and I need a signature for something, and I can't find the person who I usually get a signature from, I'll usually do an @ to the whole channel and say, hey, I need some help. Can someone do something for me real quick? So let's say I did, if I do a post like this, hey, give me your thoughts for your upcoming meeting, and you want to reply to it, it's actually called starting a thread. So these are notes in the channel. You can you can add a reaction, which is fantastic. There are a whole bunch of them. I'm going to put shark reaction because that's cool. You can start a thread and bumps it off to the right-hand side. So we can say now this is a thread. Someone also gave me a shark. Who else gave me a shark? Drew. Well done, Drew. Thanks. But now that this is a thread, you can keep track of threads, and you'll see that they pop out over here. But there also, at the top, is a place where you can monitor threads, and it's going to load the most recent threads. So it'll also let you know, have you read them all? And you can see comments. So if we start using this, and we will as officers, to manage some work this summer, you'll see some posts to the general forum. We can start threads for things like how we're going to do fundraisers, or how we're going to do new membership, or t-shirts for next year, because we bonked on that this year. That's my fault, not your fault. So that's how we will use this piece. So let me finalize this video and send it out. So Drew and some of the rest of you, now there's a bunch of sharks. Look at that. Drew, Shrey, Arushi, nice. They're all going to get shout outs in the video. Well done. Let me finalize the video and send it out to you guys. And then I have a date for the next meeting, but I'll put that in a separate video. Thanks, guys. You'll see this video here shortly.